For this third tutorial, I'm going to show you how to select and adapt the colors here in the color selection dialog in the toolbox. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through on how to change the colors. First of all, when you scroll over it, it'll say foreground and background colors. I normally just focus on the foreground colors. You can actually put another color in here and just switch between the two. But for now we're just going to left click. It's going to bring up this change foreground color dialog. Now, what's neat about this box is that you can pick anywhere in here with the left mouse key and just select, and it has all these different colors. And now these just happen to be in the shade of red. So what's neat about this is every time you click, it changes the bars over here on the right hand side. Now, explaining these to you, right here is the hue. Most of the time, I don't ever really deal with this. I like to actually input my colors in using the hex code, or just finding a color that I like using this bar that you just scroll with. But you have the hue, you have the saturation and value. The ones down below, though, are kind of important. These are the red, green, and blue, and I'll show you how those are important in a second. These are important one way because a lot of times when you do the kind of work on GIMP, and you go to send it to a printer, if you would, a lot of printers make sure that they use some of the RGB color choices to make sure that you match what's on the screen with what's actually printed out. But for now, let's just go ahead and we're going to pick a color here, this green, and I hit OK. Now I have this color, that's the color that is selected, or that's active right now, is this green. Now, if I go in here and just try to select this, it's going to select the eye and change it. What I would do is I would do multiple layers, and what I can do, instead of clicking the new layer, to make a duplicate layer, you're going to right click on top of the one you want to duplicate. It opens this box, and then you just hit duplicate layer. So now I have two of these layers for this eye. Now if I want to go through and I want to change this color, I'll just change the white one. Another thing I can do is actually use this HTML notation tool. And what it is a combination of letters and numbers, a certain code that will create a color. In order to find those codes, you have to get on the internet and go to color hex color codes. It's color-hex.com. This is a website that you see all these color swatches, and underneath each swatch is a HTML notation code or a hex code. I'm going to come down here, and I like this orange, so I'm going to select the orange. And it has two basic codes right here. It has the color hex code right here, and then below it has this 255, 90, and 0. Well, that's the red, green, and blue numbers. So we're first going to type in this FF5A00. So we're going to go in here, back into GIMP. Let's go ahead and get the active layer back up. Type in FF5A00, and now you have that orange. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this orange. So I still have the green selection layer as well. Now I can come back in here as well and go over to the green, and I'm going to go back in here where I can see the RGB colors, 255, 90, and 0. So if I go back in here to GIMP and I change the R to 255, the green to 90, and the blue to 0, I now have that same orange. Now I'm going to go in here for just the purpose of showing you how to do this. I'm going to select the blue. I'm going to make the layer active with the green, and I'm going to select that. I'm going to switch the layers, and now the blue layer is on top, the orange is in back. So if I want to find a color, if I scan something in, or I find an image on the internet and there's a color that I want to match, what I can do is go back in here to this dialog box, this color dialog box, and I can click over here with the eyedropper. Click on it, click on the image that has the color that I want, and now all of a sudden now it's blue. So that's another way you can find your colors. You can also do pattern fills. There's a pattern that you want. You can click on this, I'm going to fill the whole selection. Now what you have to do here is you have to actually use this fuzzy select tool. Okay. Now it actually then created it without using the fuzzy select tool. But there are different backgrounds you can use, which is really neat. You can just experiment if you want. Okay, now that's the entire background. Now on something like this, you can go, and on this case, let's say Control Z goes back. In this case, you'll need to do a selection tool. And now I have that. So some neat options that you can do. Go back to this second and show you, I believe there's another option. Pattern fill the similar colors. That will make it to where you don't have to fill in the entire selection. You don't have to do a selection. For me though, I always go fill whole selection and always do the fuzzy select tool to make sure that I get it from each edge. That concludes the third tutorial on selecting and changing colors.